before joining the Knesset, I was serving as a F16 pilot, and I participated in all the operations and wars that Israel has been through in the last 25 years. I'd like to talk about a specific case that was just about, I think, less than 3 years ago, Operation Tzuk Eitan in Gaza, in which Hamas launches rockets against Israeli civilians, dug tunnels to cross, also in order to just to make as much damage as he can against kids, women, men. That's their strategy. And I'd like to talk about some lies, because I know it from fact. I'll tell you a story about a flight that I had. I took off with 2 bombs and went into the sea and start maneuvering, waiting to get a target. And it takes time, but then the target came in, and we were preparing to go and release the bombs. And then we had a stop call sign in the way we were just going to release the bombs. And the reason we had the stop is that Israel, and I think maybe the only state in the world when facing an enemy in fight, was looking at the target through another surveillance and saw that were few uninvolved people in the area. And we didn't want to have collateral damage. So we were really pinpointing our targets. We ceased attacks because of not hurt uninvolved civilians during this war. And I remember that my flight ended up with both of my bombs on my wings, and I was landing back on the base with no actual combat operation. And I'm proud of that. I'm proud of that because the reason for that was that Israel is the most moral state in the world in that sense. In Israel, women fly jets. I know, I told you so, I'm part of that. Women head universities, manage big corporations, in the Supreme Court, and ministers, as we have Minister Gamliel here, and serve also as Speaker of the Knesset, and at the same time, just about 1 hour flight from Israel, through all directions, women have been raped, murdered, sold for slavery across the world, and specifically in the Middle East. And which is the only country that the UN Commission of Women chosen to condemn year after year after year, repeatedly? Well, as you guessed, it's Israel. And let me give you another example. UNESCO just recently denied the connection between Israel and the Temple Mount. What an absurd. It's like denying the connection between the Chinese Wall and China. These lies, these actions didn't come up from nowhere. They are filled with anti-Semitism and with BDS fingerprints. The BDS advocates the demonization of Israel and her actions. As you heard before, only by listening to their leaders who say, definitely, most definitely, we oppose a Jewish state in any part of Palestine. So they're no partner for peace. BDS makes a false analogy between Israel, the democracy, and Afrikaner South Africa in order to isolate Israel. Let me tell you some truth. Israel Arab minority enjoys full equal rights in Israel. Israel Arabs serve in the Knesset as Knesset members, in the Supreme Court, in high public and private office, in all ways of life. Those who advocate BDS deny Israel from the basic right to self-defense and blame Israel for the conflict of the region. When you talk about the conflict in the region, it didn't start 50 years ago, not in 67. It even didn't start at 48 when the Israeli state was established. It started a long time before that, when the Zionist movement has risen up and Jews are starting to go into Israel. And then you had the Zionist dream, make the land of Israel the Jewish state, and you had Arabs who were there, by the way, no Palestinians then, they didn't exist then, and they had their own desire for the land. And I respect their desire, and I think that's maybe one of the reasons that differ between us and them. Because when Hilik Bar here says, are you willing to live next to me or you want to replace me? I think that's the most important question. Because the Arabs, until today, has not neglected their will to replace Israel and to take over Haifa, Jaffa, and other places where the Jews and the land of Israel is. So we gave a chance a few times. At 48, the UN was willing to give a two-state solution, and the Arabs rejected it and tried to conquer Israel, and they failed. Same happened at 67. We signed the Oslo Agreement, also in purpose to have flourish peace. We left Gaza out of every inch. There's no Israeli force in the Gaza Strip. And Gaza, by the way, have a border with Egypt. When people are saying that Israel is blockading Gaza, it's true that from our borders, the only supply goes into Gaza is what we supply, and we supply thousands of trucks every day, otherwise Gaza would have collapsed. But Gaza has a border with Egypt. And there, as well as from Israel, we know that everything that goes in is used for terror, is used to dig tunnels, is used to destroy Israel. So I think my belief is that when you look at the region today and you see countries are falling apart, failed states, to move in this future to another solution, as they say, will be a mistake. And in this I differ from my friend Hilik. I wish that we had a partner that wanted to live with peace with us. I would sign a deal right now. Unfortunately, the only time that this will happen is when, as Jabotinsky, founder of our state, said, when they, Kira Barzel, the iron wall, when they will believe that they are facing iron wall, then and only then peace can prevail. So what we're doing here by fighting BDS and by strengthening Israel is building this iron wall, making sure that Israel is there and Israel is going to stay forever. And let me finish by one more comment in regarding the Jews who live here in the European countries. This is your home. I said earlier today in another speech that Israel is your home as well. And it's true, Israel is your home. But we respect the fact that you live in different states and that's your home as well. What we need to make sure is that no BDS, no anti-Semitism is going to hurt this home. Rather if it's here in Brussels or in Copenhagen or in London or in Israel. We're going to fight for that and make sure that we're going to win.